Hello. Let me know if this fan is too loud. I can turn this fan off. Well, good evening, everybody. Glad I have the opportunity to try to be helpful, to try to be useful for the Lord. Again, this morning was nothing of me, nothing I did, all for Jesus. I did absolutely nothing this morning, and I just want everybody to know that Jesus has done everything for us. This morning was amazing. What he's been able to do every week is just miraculous. And I'm just thankful that I have an opportunity to do anything for him. So with that, let's I just kind of want to touch back base again over here in Romans. For whatever reason, I just feel like I kind of want to hit just a little bit of this again. So bear with me, but I got two verses. And I guess we can just go read them and get it over with here. But I want to be Romans chapter 6, verse 14. And this is going kind of right along with Romans 7. But if you guys want to go ahead and get there if you want, maybe let me know when you get there. And after that, we're going to look at 2 Chronicles at chapter 7. So Romans 6 and 14 and 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. So in Romans 6 and 14, says, for sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. So in Romans chapter 6 and 14, the man under the law and not under grace may be under the dominion of sin. And in 2 Chronicles 7:14, it's saying that it is simply not enough to be humble. It's simply not enough to pray, not enough to seek God, but to also turn from our wickedness. If it's all right, just bear with me, okay? I guess my thought here is everybody gets so excited and we want to shout and holler and praise all over somebody who's wasted their entire life in the world. They can come and receive glory and get saved, and we will eat that up. Someone that's been out of church for a long time and come in and just rush to the altar, overwhelmed, and we eat it up. But are we eating it up thinking or even saying it out loud that this is where they should have been all along. Because being Baptists, we're good at that, right? At pointing it out. They should have been here this whole time. That's where they belonged all this time. We tried telling them. We tried showing them. They didn't want to listen to us. We're good about that, aren't we? But now we're in a place where we have kids and newly saved followers of Christ down at the altar all the time. We have teenagers that are saved early in their lives, okay? And why is it such a struggle for us to find a shout for that? But we can shout and praise over somebody who's been out for a long time and came back, as we should. We should. But why isn't it easier to shout and praise over ones that didn't even have to see that, who didn't even have to find, years of failure? We should rejoice into that. When we have kids that are bringing themselves to Jesus, when they are at crossroads and the only choices they have are the world's way and the Lord's way, and not only are they in church, but they're bringing themselves to the one who can help them the most, and then relying on their peers to help them with that. It's wonderful. We shouldn't just want to praise, the big stories, the big testimonies, the ones who have all this to come back and say, look what he's brought me from. Look at these addictions he's brought me from. Look at all of the mess I made and he cleaned up for me. And now I'm doing this. It's wonderful. It really is. That's me personally. That's my testimony. But wouldn't it be so much better if I could stand and sit here today and share with you that I never even had to witness it? That I never even had to go through those things? And I guess part of my thought here that I'm wanting to share is in Romans 6:14. It's talking for sin shall not have dominion. If Kate was here, she'd tell me to put my hands down. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. Just give me a second, okay? I don't know if we got kids on here. I don't know if we got our teenagers on here at all. But if it's all right, I don't know, Chase. If it's all right, let me. If I can just have it for just a second. Kids, as long as you're doing business down at that altar, you're doing it the right way. If you're coming up to the altar and you're meeting God, and you are there to settle up, then you're doing it right. I promise you're doing it right. But hear this, okay? You do not have, and I shared this the other night, but listen, you do not have to go out into the world to get a testimony that's worth listening to. It's just not true. This morning I said we have one testimony of salvation, the only one. We have so many testimonies of grace and mercy and restoration and all the things that God's done for us. Okay. But you don't have to go out into the world to find that. You don't have to go out and venture out and become a wanderer and deal with all these things that life can throw at you to get a good testimony. Okay. You do not have to be away from God and get into some horrible things to come into the church and get straightened out and to be forgiven and to try to recover from and have a good testimony, because the moment you fall into the traps that the entire world is designed to snare you up in, you will make decisions that will haunt you for the rest of your life. Even if you are forgiven, even if God helps you move past it, if God brings you completely over it and can help, trample it down and help others through it, it don't matter. Your brain, your heart will not let you forget it. It will haunt you forever. You will get yourself into things that you will regret. And you'll have a good testimony to share if God brings you over those things. But you don't have to get into those situations. You don't have to do it your way. You don't have to go out into the world. And this isn't just for the kids. This is for the teens. This is for the newly saved. This is for the adults. This is for the elders. This is for everybody. You do not have to go out and look into the world to have a testimony that's worth sharing, to have a testimony that's worth listening to. And you can go ahead and ask me how I know. You don't have to do it your own way. You don't have to do it your own way to be heard, and you don't have to do it your own way to be supported. You don't have to do it your own way to get better. And just because we're in the house of God doesn't mean that you can't still do it the wrong way. Ask me how I know. Because it's absolutely possible to sit in church Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, revivals, special services, whatever it may be, and still be ate up with self and flesh and guilt and doing it the wrong way. You can still be a teacher, song leader, a preacher, whatever your ministry is, and can still be doing it the wrong way. Ask me how I know. We don't want to be told that. We don't want to hear how we're doing it the wrong way. We don't want to be called out when we are doing it the wrong way. We want to hear how faithful we are to the house of God. We want to hear how reliable our attendance is. We want to hear how great our testimony was. We want to hear how our song was, how great we sang it, how great the lesson was. We want to hear that we are such amazing Christians. When the truth is, I can stand in front of the church and be a very sorry excuse of a Christian. Ask me how I know. It's kind of weird how you can say, ask me how I know on things that are bad, right? And when you've got something to share and people are itching to know. People are nosy, and people like a good story. People like drama. And when you say, just ask me, I know a little bit about that. Just ask me how I know. And they'll look right at you and say, oh yeah, tell me. Yeah? How do you know? But you know what? When you've got great things to say and you've got some actual insight and glimpses of grace and mercy, and maybe you're just bursting at the seams, you're practically just begging someone to say, how do you know? I'll give you some examples, okay? This is something I've been really enjoying saying, how great God has been to me. God has been so good to me. Ask me how I know. Somebody asked me how I know. God can make ways when there are no ways. Ask me how I know. God can restore what everything and everyone else kept saying what cannot be restored. Please, somebody, ask me how I know. When you're bursting to share it, sometimes they just don't want to hear it. When we are stuck in valleys and we use it as crutches. Thanks, buddy. When we are in valleys and we want to use that as a crutch for and tell other people that this is why we're out. This is why we can't do this, or I'm not going to be any good there anyways because of this going on. How often? Sometimes that we won't be living right, and we'll turn right around and we'll use not living right as an excuse for not living right. We'll tell ourselves it's okay to miss this week. And then, well, it's already been a week. Maybe, it's just, I'm already out. We'll miss next. We'll just miss this week too. You know what? My life's a mess. I've been out for weeks now. I'm backslid. I'm doing this and I can't seem to get over this. And now this temptation came up and I just keep falling into this. And if we're not careful, we're going to let ourselves talk ourselves right out of our blessings. We're going to continue to talk ourselves into a deeper hole, into further darkness. When what we really need to do is stop blaming God for all the bad that's happening when we sometimes run ourselves into the ditch. And God's just given us an opportunity, a season of proving. He'll take us out of a season of comfort and put us into a season of proving. And as soon as we do that, because we've been talking it up, right? We're ready. We're doing this. As Chase would say, we're ready to charge hell with a squirt gun. But as soon as he starts to turn up a little bit of heat at all, we start, oh, God's not listening to us. What did we do? Why can't we get through this? Why is this so much harder than last time? Why is this valley so much harder than the last one was? When are we going to get relief? Why can't we get help? Why is it so much harder to get through this? Why does it feel like nobody understands what's going on? I can't feel like my prayers are getting answered. I don't feel like this is happening the way it should be happening. And I just don't feel like being in church right now. I don't feel like doing this right now. We'll talk ourselves right out of it. And then we'll use that as an excuse as to why we're not doing better. As if that makes any sense at all. When the truth is, those valleys are where we're going to learn the most. That's really where we get to see what we're made of. Those are the proving grounds. That's the season of proving. When we get off of our mountain and God's just got done revealing so much to us and giving so much to us and pouring out all this onto us, He's equipping us. He's equipping us for what is to come. And if we don't hold on to that, and if we don't use that, to help build us up and to get ready for it, we're just going to dump it all off. We're going to turn around and we're just going to go running down the valley, screaming with our head on fire, wondering where the help is. I think it's time that we stop treating our gift of salvation like it's a bag of weights. Stop treating our gift of salvation like it's weighing us down, like it's preventing us from unleashing this new level of ourselves. Like that's the reason we're not excelling. Because in reality, it's us. In reality, it's how we are handling what God's given us. And if we take it for granted, we'll lose all of it. I hope this is a help to somebody. I really don't know what else here to say this time. And I just want the kids especially to hold on to something here, and that is you don't have to go out into the world to be heard. You don't have to go out into the world and get hurt to have talents and gifts and testimonies that can help the church and can help your peers. Now, some of us are going to get into some hard times, and we can use that to help others in hard times. We can we can use that to help others that are going through similar situations that we had to go through and similar situations that we put ourselves into. But just because I have a story of restoration doesn't mean I should have had a story of restoration. Because God's salvation was testimony enough. The salvation that I have was worth the testimony. I didn't need to go and fall into all these other things that my mind won't let me forget. And sometimes even at church, I can't help but to feel some of the pain I've brought to the church and to my loved ones. And sometimes it hurts to look around and see it, even though we've moved past it, even though I've been forgiven, even though I've been restored, even though I'm still growing, even though things are getting better and there's proof of it and there's evidence all around it. There's still hurt. We don't have to live that way. We don't have to wait for those things to happen so that we can stand and find a shout, so we can stand and lift our hands, so we can give God the credit that he's due already. I'm not going to linger. I love you. Thank you so much.